the Police Minister, Bheki Cele, is visiting some of the province's hotspots to monitor COVID-19 compliance. There's been a sharp increase in infections in that province in the last 7 days. One former mayor says the region is doing its best to make residents aware of COVID-19 protocols. Let me take you to eNCA's Ronald Masinda, who's tracking the story. And Ronald, we were expecting the minister at midday. Has he arrived, and what is the focus of his visit there?
Good afternoon to us. Well, the audio is not the best of quality, but I'll try and make sense of the question you just asked. The minister has just arrived a short while ago. I'm just going to quickly step out of shot just to give you a sense of what's happening in the background. So the motorcade just arrived just a moment ago. The minister will be briefing the police here in Vredendal with regards to some of the issues pertaining to level 3 lockdown regulations. Now, of course, the minister won't only be here in Vredendal. He will be visiting other areas such as Lambert's Bay. He is also expected to be in Langebaan. Langebaan was a place recently where many people complained seeing people on the beach following the announcement by the president that beaches will be closed during this time. So we are expecting the minister to quickly brief the police here at this police station before he will be open to perhaps walk around and see if people, whether or not here in Vredendal, are complying with COVID-19 regulations before he gives us an opportunity to speak to him as the media. We also are joined, Tulas, by the current mayor here of Matsikama municipality. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. First of all, what is your expectation following the minister's visit here? I'll hold the mic.
Okay, my expectation is that the minister, his visit today, will definitely come and help us so that everyone can comply with the necessary lockdown 3 regulations. Because we had a lot of problems, but after engaging with SAPS and the municipality, we had pulled the road through.
Right. What are the problems that you're referring to? And just quickly elaborate, because we are about to get the minister walking through here.
Okay, at the beach side, we had a few people, and at the end of the day, they refused to move. After we engaged with them thoroughly, and with the help of the police, they then moved back.
Right. Matilda Baines, thank you so much for your time. Well, as you can see to us in the background, I'm just going to move away again. The minister is about to walk towards our direction. Of course, Matilda Baines is the mayor here of Matsikama, saying that one of the biggest issues that they are grappling with in this area, part of the world of the West Coast, is people are not complying, especially those who seem to think that they should go to the beaches when the beaches are closed. And one of the complaints that we heard from one of the activists that we spoke to a short while ago, he said that also police must also play their part, because they felt that police are not doing their part in terms of, taking people away from beach places while many people here in these areas are sitting at home. Of course, earlier on I did also interview a former mayor who said the current cases, active cases here in Vredendal, are around 1,200 active cases, and that's cause for concern given that it is a small town, a farming town here in the Western Cape. The Western Cape alone has over 40,000 active cases. That was at last count to us, which is also a great deal of concern. And we will also be hearing from a number of people here on the ground, especially those who have been queuing in lines. We are seeing quite a number of people queuing in lines, some of them queuing for loans. It is, of course, that time of the year where many people will queue for loans, given that they might have spent a lot of their income during the festive season. As you can see in the background, the minister is still there talking to the police, but we'll surely give you more update and more clarity as to what is happening here maybe in the next couple of minutes or so.
All right, thank you for that. That's eNCA's Ronald Masinda there, tracking the visit there by Minister Bheki Cele to the West Coast District. In fact, the Swartland District recorded one of the highest numbers of COVID-19 deaths recently, and that's where I take you next, where we find eNCA's Nadine Theron, who is there and joins me now for an update from Langepan. And Nadine, this is one of the areas that will be the focus of the Minister of Police's visit to the Western Cape, and partly this will have to do with ensuring that there's compliance, given the reality of the number of cases in those small towns and the number of people who are dying from COVID-19.
Yes, so we've moved on from Langeban and we are now in Vredenburg, and we're speaking to a local community activist, also a good party member, Sammy Claassen, who shared pictures on Facebook showing non-compliance on various beaches in this Saldanha Bay district. And ever since, police have been patrolling the beaches, and that is also why the police minister is coming here. But that was quite a different story on the 1st of January this year, when the beaches were occupied. There were lots of people on the beaches, and Sammy can tell us more about that. Sammy, tell us, where did you get these pictures from, and where were they taken, and what did they show?
Well, firstly, thank you for the opportunity to tell South Africa that Saldanha Bay municipality, number one, they did not comply in terms of the COVID-19 regulations and the Disaster Management Act. There was a complete non-compliance. The pictures and the video material that I provided you with on the 2nd of January tells a story of a Britannia Bay in St. Helena Bay, where there were large groups of people allowed onto the beach. It also tells us a story of Trekoskraal, just 10 kilometers outside of Vredenburg, where people were camping and swimming and have free access to our beaches. It tells a story of a Paradise Beach in Langeban, where people were camping on the beachfront, swimming, and were allowed free access to the beaches. It tells a story about Titis Bay in Paternoster, where people were camping at the resorts of this municipality. So clearly, it shows a complete disregard for COVID-19, the campaign against COVID-19, and the municipal manager and the mayor of Saldanha Bay municipality. They must account for this because they failed to enforce the law. It tells a story that on the 2nd of January, people were not compliant. This municipality were not compliant. And therefore, when I took to Facebook to say, to tell South Africa that we have a problem, that these kind of gatherings are prohibited. It's not allowed, it's unlawful, it's illegal, and it's in defiance of the President's lockdown level 3 announcement, where we clearly stated that swimming and beach gatherings are not allowed. The only thing that were allowed were licensed fishers that were denied access to the beach, because these are people who earn a living. They've got permits, they've got license. They should have been the only people allowed onto the beachfront. But clearly, the picture shows that there's enough evidence that the President now must call on all these municipalities in the Western Cape, because we've been declared a hotspot. The West Coast is a hotspot. So this municipality must account to the President. In fact, we call on the President to make stronger, accountable law for all these municipalities, because they are clearly in defiance of the law.
Thank you, Sammy. So, since those pictures were shared to Facebook, the police have focused on all these beaches, and they're empty today. And Police Minister Bheki Cele is just doing a spot check and ensuring that these beaches remain empty. But those pictures really help to raise awareness, and everything has changed ever since.
All right, live for us from Vredenburg there in the Western Cape, that is eNCA's Nadine Theron. I tell you, non-compliance and crowd situations, it will end in tears.